All right, folks. Tommy Cowett here, on the lawn with you, but in the kitchen. And today, as promised in a long time ago video, I promised that we were going to do some home brewing, making some beer. So I want to just, I've been doing this quite a long time. Probably first time I brewed a batch of beer was about 30 years ago. And I've been doing it on and off for a long time. And you do it in your kitchen. The key to a good brew in your kitchen is sanitation. So typically just bleach, household bleach, and using your sink as a sanitation chamber. Anything that's going to come in contact with that brew, the carboy, that's the large kettle here that will actually brew the wort in. And later on we'll get to the stage of bottling. You want to keep everything, anything that's going to come in contact and soak down. So what I like to do is fill my sink up with water. I drain it out constantly. I kick all the cats out, little Mogo's outside the door. He's not allowed in here right now, and won't be allowed for a while. If you can see my brew kettle, I'm heating up about 2.5 gallons of water, and I just added about, you don't need but about an ounce of, couple ounces of bleach, just regular household bleach, to a couple gallons of water should suffice. But anything that's going to come in contact, utensils, anything. Let me go over some of the brewing kit that you get. And in fact, everything in this kit is going to get sanitized as well. I'm going to dunk this. That's some brewer's yeast. These are the steeping grains that I'm going to be using. Some more brewer's yeast. Just run them under that bleach water. Anything. Get rid of any paper. Here's some, that's priming sugar for later. That goes with the bottling process. This is the dried malt extract. That'll go in the wort here soon. Some more hops. That's hops, sorry. Bottle caps come with your kit. That's crushed malt. I'm just getting everything touched. These are hops, actually. That's what came in these boxes. Dry malt extract, and then these cans here, this is a liquid malt extract. It's just like a syrup. That goes in there. You want to get those cans. Go ahead and get those cans sanitized. This is a little brew bag for your grains. I'll be steeping grains in this. It's like a sock. Don't need to sanitize that yet. I'm going to put my grains in that. And there's my brewer's yeast that's going to go in the carboy after I've transferred the wort into it at the end of the brewing process. You see my my brewing kettle going nuts there. You know, you get all the instructions with the kits, and you'll pay just to go a little about how much beer costs. You make a 5-gallon batch, which is a couple of cases of beer. So, you know, you'll get the kit will come with instructions, but I like to refer to this old book. I bought this probably 30 years ago from Charlie Papazian, who, and this is kind of old and really cool. Some of the pictures in here, and you know, when I first did this, it was really intimidating. You know, I'm like, God, I don't want to mess up my beer. But they always say in here, in just all the chapters, relax and have a home brew.
Hey, there's my son.
That's good. Okay, so you know, this is the complete joy of home brewing, and that is that's the Bible to me. There's a lot of newer books out. That goes way, way back. Just to go over some of the components of this with you, of the kit you buy, and typically, you know, you're going to pay about 25 bucks, maybe 30 for the kit to make the 5-gallon batch. And so the first thing we're going to do is add our grains to this bag. And that is something I'm going to do, and I'll get back in just a moment. We'll go ahead and take a break and be right back.
I'd like to say hey to Terry, who is still painting.
All right, so we're back. So basically this is a caramel malt, crushed victory malt, and a crushed caramel malt in this sack. And I'm about the right temperature. It's warming up in here. You don't want it compacted or anything. You want to basically put that in, tie a nice little knot there. And this will steep here for about 20-30 minutes. You know, and I'll just let that sit in there. So what that's going to do is basically just cook those grains down and release a lot of the sugar that's in the malt. They call it a malt. It's basically what it is the grains that have been pre-germinated, and to release some of the sugar that's in that. Then it's dried, and then you go ahead and cook that down. So the 2.5 gallons of water and the grains are in there, and we'll let that just steep for about 20-30 minutes, about 160, 170 degrees. The next step is to add the malt extract, which is basically the same thing as the dried grain. You could go all grain, but this is a malt extract. It's actually a liquid. I like to put it in the hot water, which I'm doing here, because it is very syrupy, which you'll see in a little bit. And then after that, we also add the dry malt extract, which is basically the same thing as this, only it's in a dry form. So anyway, we'll proceed on. But just really the most important thing you can do, follow the procedures, real simple. Keep everything sanitized with bleach and wash everything down, and everything's going to work out great. Trust me. All right. So folks, we're here about 20-30 minutes now. Actually, it's been 30 minutes. I like to let that grain steep for a long time. And you'll even want to kind of flop it around a little bit. But you can see in that grain, I don't know if you can see close enough. There's a lot, it's nice and caramel looking, nice and bronze, kind of a bronze color to it, where it's dripping out. I'm just going to let the rest of the sugar, I'm going to show you this in just a second. Just let that drip down a little bit. And that's some good grain. That is going to go right into my compost pile. There's my little coffee ground container. I always save all my coffee grounds, put them in the compost pile. But this malt extract, very, very thick. You can see I'm going to pour that in. Add that to the wort. 2 cans of that. These cans have been soaking in the sink, hot water, so it really turned it syrupy. Just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, I even sanitized my can opener. Everything over here has been sanitized. So there goes the liquid malt extract, very thick. Now this is a India Pale Ale, one of my favorite beers. It's kind of a thicker, darker beer. If you like India Pale Ale, like a Sierra Nevada. You know, my favorite one is Ranger by Belgium, New Belgium Beer Company, Brewing Company. Lost the lid. That's that. And then you'll add your dry malt extract to it. Everything again, it's been soaked in that solution of bleach and water. Okay, so that's done. Even my spoon, which I'm going to start to stir and bring this to a rolling boil. There we go. I'll show that to you in just a bit. What this looks like so far. Not worried about it. Everything's sanitized. And I'll work on that for a little bit and try to give you a little shot of what that looks like in there. And I'm going to be doing some more stirring on that, bring it to a rolling boil. Show you that's the sanitation sink. My knife is even in there. There's the hops that are going in next. 3 bags of that, and then I got a brewer's yeast, which is right there. Alright, and look at who's out the door. He wants to come in. No way, man, no way. He ain't coming in yet. Alright, folks, so we'll keep going here. Continue with the brewing process. I'm going to have a home brew. Alright folks, so here we are, we're doing this gentle rolling boil here, and I just want to go over this up. A lot of people, when you talk about beer, talk about hops, and with this particular kit you get 3 types. This is the Cascade Aroma hops. I'm going to put my little sanitized bag. There goes the Aroma hops, Cascade Aroma, and then Cascade Bittering hops, and they come in like a pellet. It's like rabbit food, like Doug's rabbit food. Just add that there. You know, it comes as a kit. Everything's pretty simple. More of that. North Carolina is becoming a big grower in Virginia of hops. I've met quite a few people. And here's my sanitized spoon, and I'll just work that in like that. Woo! You know, gentle boil, a gentle rolling boil. So far we've you know, created a wort using our grains, and now the liquid malt extract, the dried malt extract, all dissolved in here. And I've just added the hops, and that's it, folks. That's all you do. 2.5 gallons of water. Your ingredients, everything's sanitized. I'll show you how I go. I just take that spoon, goes right back in there, and I'll rinse it off when I use it again. But basically, folks, that's what we're doing. Get into a little bit about the alcohol content of the beer. There's something called specific gravity that you want to measure. So the density of this right now is going to be pretty high. Like say it has a specific gravity of say 12. And then when I take that out, when it's completely finished after I've added the yeast and fermented it in the carboy, say I read it as a specific gravity of a 6. So you subtract the before specific gravity from the after, and you're going to end up with that range. That's a 6. So it's going to have a 6% alcohol content. And according to this, this particular beer will be between 5.7% and 6.25% alcohol. It's pretty strong alcohol beverage. So be careful if you're going to drink this and drive. You don't want to drive after you're drunk. After you drink any of this beer, of course. But anyway, that's done with you read your specific gravity using a hydrometer, and that's like a floating device with a scale that'll give you your sugar content, basically before and after. All right, folks, we'll just continue on with some more of this. Okay, so we're back. We're almost done brewing today. We've steeped the grains, put them all into the pot, and we did a rolling boil for about 55 minutes. And now what I've done is transferred the brew kettle into the sink with some ice, cooled it down probably about 70 degrees, maybe even lower. Got my assistants here, Billy, And we're going to transfer this material into the carboy with a funnel. So Billy, if I can get your help. And I'm just going to lift this up. It's really cool. This is probably the hardest part. I need a bigger funnel. Oh yeah, look at that, Billy. See? It's a little bit, it's like 2.5 gallons of liquid that's been boiled down to about 2 gallons of liquid, but it's thick. Okay. Yeah, man, and this is what it is. This is before it becomes beer. There's no alcohol in this right now. Even though it doesn't smell good, it's like an molasses drink or a thick, good stuff. It's all sugar. These
How
all
does it taste right?
tastes really good. Sweet. Okay, now I'm starting to get in some sediment. Why not? I'll let it roll. Don't want it all. Or do I do.
Keep filter that?
I don't want to. I want those yeast to have food. Oh, sorry about all that. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we transfer that, and I will begin to add water now to the tune to make this 5 gallons. So we'll probably fill it up to here. I want to show you there's a thermometer on this, and I want to keep it between about 68 and 72 degrees is ideal. So this thing's going to get moved into my laundry room. After I add the water, I've rehydrated the yeast here in about 4 ounces of water. So I'll pour this yeast mixture. It's just rehydrated it. It was in a dry packet at the end. And then we'll cap it with this airlock. Fill it up to about that much water, and then you'll see the CO2 working. All right, so that's the next step. Hey, Billy, thank you for your help. That was a big help. Cheers. Have a home brew. All right, folks, here we are. It's been just over 48 hours since we added the brewer's yeast to the wort. Now you can really see it's moving. Now I moved the whole fermentation chamber, the carboy as it's called, to my laundry room, which is in the middle of the house, and there's very little draft here. And I'm keeping the house at a reasonable temperature here. Little jacket. Hey, Tommy wants to warm up, baby. But as you can see, some of that yeast and grains working away in here on the wort. Try to get a little close up, but if you could see this movement, I'll try to get a shot of this. I'm getting really close here. You can see the movement. Can you see that? That's that yeast. The yeast is really going to work on the see what works best here to see that. You can see that. So this will go on for about 5 days, 5 to 6 days. And we'll be looking at the top there. Our vapor lock, air lock, and it's breathing, baby. It's breathing. This is gonna rock and roll like this for about 5 to 6 days. And then we will be ready to bottle. So we'll watch as this whole thing settles down. But going back a little bit earlier, I gotta warn you about yeast. I tasted some of the aroma yeast, and it upset my stomach really bad the other night, so it was really rough on me. But anyway, out here in the laundry room where it's nice and warm, and this stuff is going nuts. You want to keep it at between 74 and about between 68 and 74 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm probably a little warmer than that in this room. Alright folks, we'll see you in a little bit when we get to the bottling. Alright folks, hey, we're back. Tommy Coward here on the lawn and in the kitchen again, following week. Here's the carboy and brew and stop. This is now a beer. We turned that wort into a beer. It fermented. The yeast, the carbonation, everything, the CO2 had leaked out. If you saw earlier, the activity, the swirling, everything was working around in there. Now the job is to bottle. And this is the final process. Here are my bottles. I've got approximately 52 bottles, which should handle the 5 gallons of beer. And go ahead and take this cap off. Boy, a lot of yeast and a lot of sediment. Another thing you can do when you're brewing beer is to double rack, which means to go ahead and redo it again. I mean, actually get another carboy, transfer this into it, and do another fermentation. And what happens is you end up with a lot less sediment in it. I mean, look how dark my beer is. It's going to be really dark. I love a dark beer. This is a pale ale, India pale ale. If you go back to an earlier video of siphoning the jacuzzi out, it's kind of what I'm doing here. I've got a, my hose. It's been sterilized, of course. Still have my sterile sink with the bleach. So this hose has been sterilized. My bottle caps are sterilized. My bottle capper has been sterilized. You'll see that in a minute. Now I'm going to try to transfer this beer from the fermenter into the bottling bucket. So what I'm going to basically do is put this in here. That's all stopped off. And a little bit of water is going to get in my bottling bucket. I'm not worried about that. So go ahead and there goes.
Romance by Wild.
Okay, so
We heard Tame Impala with
I'm transferring the beer
Interpol with
from this carboy
with the new one from the new pornographer.
Into
Pornographer's called Dance
the bottling bucket. It's running really good. Let me give you a shot of that real quick. Show you what it looks like here. See this. And how it's pouring in. Just quickly, you know. And I'm going to monitor this as it's going down. I'm going to try not to get the sediment in the bottom or the sediment on top. So we'll see just how that works out. So put this back here and we'll show you how to bottle. And I'm going to monitor this pretty closely here as it fills up. We'll be right back with you. Oh, forgot. Relax, have a home brew. It's really easy. There's Sherwood, and of course, little Momo, and finishing up with the final stage of this process. I'm over here boiling some bottling sugar, which it's like confectioner sugar, and I put it on a boil for about 5 minutes. It's done. You can see here. This is sugar that will get added to the bottling bucket. It's boiling here, and I'm just going to add it to the bottling bucket. Now, back in the day, man, I remember a time. I'll stir that in just a bit. Back in the day, we used to add like a teaspoon of bottling sugar to sterile spoon. We would add a little bit of bottling sugar to each bottle. That was a pain. And now it's gotten to the point, I'm just gonna stir. You can stir this for about a minute. That all gets stirred in. Boy, that's some good looking beer. Nice thick. Just the way I like it. So here's the spent grains, the yeast, the sediment. I've really got to clean this bottle out. This thing went nuts. I mean, it really went crazy. You saw the swirling, it had it up, good temperature. And, you know, brewing beer can be a lot of fun. So I'll stir that in a little bit and then we'll get to bottling. So bear with me. All right, folks, here we go. I'm just gonna have a seat right here. And what I have here is my bottling bucket set up. Now I remember back in the day when we would siphon everything from the bottling bucket or the carboy right into the bottle. So what I've got here are some bottles. They're all sanitized and clean. I did not wash them in the dishwasher. I'm just using the dishwasher as a drying rack for them. But basically, I've got 52 bottles. And I've got two safeties here. I've got this clip here, which is pinching this hose. And this is a little bottling wand that comes with the kit. Actually has a little pointer on the top. Now I'll go ahead and release this fluid. Watch it come on in. It's not going anywhere till I release this, but as long as I keep it above the magic of siphoning, it's not going to go any higher. So what I basically will do is, this is filling them up, and I'll fill them up to about an inch before the top. Got to keep it below this level. It's like sitting down here, and it's filling up now. So an inch before the top. Okay. You can see that. That's about right. A little bit higher. Okay. Being up here, it makes a little bit of a mess. You see that? So you want to do it over a pan like this. And that's basically getting your content from the bottling bucket into the bottle. It's not rocket science, baby, but we're trying. You can see that. Gravity, baby, gravity. Okay. So that's basically bottling, baby. The precious fluid. And these are going to be so good. I mean, you can drink them now. They're good. The bottling sugar is going to help reactivate the yeast that's in there and create that carbonation that you want. Okay. So, we're at that point, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this guy off and turn off the video. And we'll show you how to cap in just a second. All right, folks, we're bottling. Just want to show you, here's one complete bottle. I ended up with 45 bottles of beer. So when Billy was here, my brother-in-law, basically the way this bottle cap works, I think I was off by about somewhere around a 6-pack. But basically, there's a little magnet on this bottle capper. Place it on. It grabs the neck And there's different types. That's it. Okay, now the bottling sugar's in there, so it's going to ferment some more. And we're basically going to end up with a pretty good carbonation at the end. In fact, some of these things, when they pop, when you pop one of these guys, it's a really good pop. So that's brewing. That's home brew, folks. I promised that to the subscribers. Siphoning technique from the jacuzzi, if you guys remember. Sanitation's real key here. It's simple. Buy a kit. Follow the directions. You end up with an excellent product. I'm not saying you'll save money brewing beer. I mean, if you're a big, heavy beer drinker like I am, I like to drink a lot of beer. Probably not going to save much money doing this, but boy, oh boy, I tell you what, you cannot beat the product. It is just, if I can show you, there is a lot of sediment. That's a dark beer. I really like it. I don't drink that much, but I mean, you know, I really am a connoisseur of a lot of new home brews. I've been brewing for a long, long time. And, you know, I prefer a good quality beer. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the best you can get. Man, I'll tell you what, there's nothing like having these home brews. And I try to make them around Christmas time sometimes, give them away as gifts, if, you know, if that works out. Sometimes you just love this stuff so much you don't want to part with it. But Tommy Cowett signing out. Hope y'all are having a great one. This is Home Brewing, and y'all have a great one.